Hello and welcome back to the ESA Cup. We've got a couple of games for you tonight, and it's myself, Chamberlain, on the mic, and I'm joined by the wonderful Bose Max, and we're going to be going through some fun and exciting games tonight. How are you feeling, Max?
I'm actually doing super great. I'm super excited for this evening. It's finally again an evening with 3 matches. We haven't had those for a bit of time. And also got some with you again, which is of course like a blessing.
Of course.
I'm very excited for that. And yeah, of course, it's the seventh week, the final week for ESA of the group stages. Of course, there's a few games that will need to be caught up, like up to next week. But for most of the matches, we will get like a pretty good view for most of the groups of which teams will in the end qualify and which will not, and in which position they will be. And the same is for this group, Group C. There's some very interesting matches here where the score, if even this final match, matters a lot. And especially like teams like Royal, Eagle Empire, and Stark, they are like one of those teams, or Entropy even. There's some of these teams who can really make it or not make it, depending on how they perform in this last play week. So that makes this a very interesting week, and I'm very excited to see these matches.
Yeah, I'll just very quickly run through the schedule because we have everybody in the lobby ready to go. So, of course, the first game is Stark versus Team Avoid, and that's starting just imminently, just about to go. It was due to start at 8 o'clock there, but it's just run past a little bit. Then we've got Misclick versus Royal, and then Entropy versus Eagle Empire at the final game as well. So, pretty standard stuff. We're getting ready to go. We've got everybody in the lobby, and we're just going to go straight into the map bands and have a look at what map we're going to be going to.
Yeah, indeed. Let's see which map is going to be playing. I believe it's GHR starting the map bands out for this evening, for this first match of the day. Yeah, that's indeed the case, and the map bands are now popping up. Just loading a bit slowly as me, or is it this?
It's showing up, but this guy's coming up. Just thinking it takes a wee second or two to come up, but it should be up on the screen now. And of course, Oregon and Shelly going away first. I'm quite surprised actually. Shelly going away quite early. Shelly's is the highest played map in the map pool so far. I'm probably feeling maybe some sort of villa or maybe even border or something different. But it really just depends. There's not been too much range in terms of the map band. If I'm completely honest, I won't see anything stray.
Yeah, there's really some maps that really stand out about the other ones, and some that are just not doing too well. For example, I believe Border is the least played map currently, and yeah, we won't see Border again for today, so it will stay the least played map so far. But we'll be going to Cafe Dostoyevsky, which I think is kind of like in the upper range as well. I'm not entirely sure, but it is in the upper range somewhere. And yeah, we'll just add another Cafe Dostoyevsky play to the map, like lineup of maps that have been played. And yes, the map is loading in. We are starting with this first match of today. Cafe, the beautiful Russian map, which we'll see any second. There we go. Team Blue, Team Stark, and Avoid, or also known as GHR, playing as the orange team.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised to see Cafe get through. It's been pretty balanced in terms of the picks. That's the 8th time it's been picked. It's the lesser of a few of them. Oregon's been picked more. You've had Clubhouse more, and of course you've had the massive 2 maps that we've seen all the time is Chalet and Villa. So I'm happy to be going somewhere different. It'll certainly test my spectator ability at least. And the thing is that I've liked about ESA groups is we've seen every single map, every single one, which is quite surprising for best of one. So I'm quite happy that we've been able to get a result out of that. And just obviously behind that, first ban coming out, Nomads. It's quite a surprising one. I think they actually get through. I've not seen a Nomad ban that much this season.
Yeah, I think Nomad is one of those operators who get played quite a lot on maps like Cafe. Plenty of staircases, so many rotation options, and having a Nomad on the board just makes it so much more easy to deny some of those roamers. And yeah, by banning Nomad, you can just allow the roam a little bit more. Of course, there's still operators like Gridlock or Zero that you can use to counter roams, or even Claymores or anything. But with the Nomad off the board, roaming will be a bit more easy.
I thought we were going to get a slightly different ban phase there. I was hoping for something different. We started off with Nomad, who hasn't been banned at all the entire season. That's actually the first ban. I'm just looking at the statistics and now, yeah. First attacker ban for Nomad. Or at least they've had a one ban. I can't see anywhere else that they've been banned at all.
Yeah,
but
she hasn't.
Nock and Solus obviously had to ruin the day and just be the mainstay bans we've seen the entire time, every single game. The 33rd time ban for Nock and the 38th time for Solus. That is an insane amount of bans. That's over 50% of the games that she's been banned in. And then Oryx as well. It just seems that they want to be letting people move around the map with that one. That's basically it. It's Cafe, up and down those hatches. There's only 2 maps I would ever ban Oryx on. It's Consulate and Cafe. They're the only 2 maps I would really ever do it in, so I'm not surprised to see it. Theme as well, yeah, Theme's a good one. Yeah, a couple of hatches you can hop up through there.
Yeah, it's just such a good roaming. Like, it's the massive roaming together with like Vigil or so. But just having Oryx on the board makes it so much easier, and especially with like lots of verticality, lots of hatches, lots of roam opportunities, then Oryx is just such a good one. For that reason, it's very understandable to see him ban. One quick thing, Chamberlain, am I supposed to hear any game audio, or?
You should be able to hear it, but it doesn't always come through on Discord. It's a bit funny.
Oh, that's fine either way. Like, let's just play like this. Is completely fine. But
it's 50-50 on Discord. It's a bit weird.
It's always a guess. Well, it's just the same thing with Siege. It's always a guess on how things will go. Like, sometimes you have a good day, sometimes you have a bad day, and let's just see how these teams will do. Of course, Stark is currently a little bit doing much better than Avoid. If we actually look at the group right now, Avoid's actually number 8 in the group, not having earned a single point so far, meaning they have lost every single match without even going to overtime. I believe they also have forfeit. No, they actually haven't even forfeited a single match. Every single match was legitimately lost. So this is the final chance. Yeah, let's see how they will do.
Yep, starting us off on the defense on the bottom floor, which I'm quite surprised to see actually. The bottom floor doesn't get shown that much in the starting round. It's usually the top floor. A couple of games that I've at least spectated over on Cafe, people have been almost allergic to the bottom floor. They don't want to go down there at all. They just want to stay off of that ability, you know, prevent the ability to get any vertical down onto them. They don't want to have that, but looks like GHR want to go for it. They don't really mind having that pressure there on it. And on the middle floor, of course, got a little bit of a roam game, and it will be Mephisto out on the Frost and moving through to the white staircase, and just been a little bit of a nuisance to now. And it doesn't look like they're going to go too aggressive on the roam, and instead just going to concede a little bit of the map to the attackers here and just lie and wait for this push to come through from the west side.
Yeah, just a matter of time for the attackers to find their first way in. We're seeing some drone work happening, some windows have been opened, and just as we are speaking, the Sledge is actually hopping in, making his first entry. There's a player fairly close, also the Jekyll currently on the top floor, he's of course a master on clearing certain areas. If he sees any footprints, he knows someone has been there recently or is still in the area. So he's of course a very smart player to be playing on. Sledge meanwhile nearing the Restless area where he might get into danger anytime soon. Of course, there's the line of sight created from the kitchen area towards those stairs, but also someone currently playing in the coat check. So any engagement might happen there anytime soon. Frost currently also rotating back downstairs with 1 minute and 40 seconds remaining on the clock. So a decent bit of time wasted or used there by the attacking team. But they should now have enough control to start making up some verticals with the Sledge, which of course was brought on board. And then eventually they can put a lot of pressure on the bomb side, make it very difficult for defenders to play there. Narrow the defenders down, look them up, drone them out, and take some first kills, and also go for their attack.
Yeah, Frost feeling the pressure inside of VIP. The drones are coming in, and they're just trying to wedge this player out of here. They're trying to get rid of them. They're still not able to get rid of the shield, though. A minute left on the clock, and it seems as though it's almost like a ghost roam on that middle floor has been able to at least slow them down a little bit. And Wolf pops in the doorway and just takes Wash without even needing to get the shield there. And that's an unfortunate scenario for the Frost, who's deleted out of the round. 5 versus 3 now, as Tim's able to collect the Leaf of Hypnosis at the same time. And now the push has come through, and everything just falls apart for the defense here. They've just swung right in the aggression in that last minute of the round. And Mux now is the last one left alive, and the push comes through the double door, but do they know where the last player is? It's the Arune, who is now able to find a pick, at least onto Sios, and now that gives away the position, but pops through around to White and loses their life because they're holding onto the flank, and everything just fell apart for the defense there. What happened, Max?
I'm not quite sure. I mean, they did give the attackers, of course, quite a bit of space towards the upper levels of the map. Something you don't want to give too early on to the attacking team, because the more time you give them, the more pressure they can give from above, which of course is very devastating on a bomb site like Kitchen, where most of the majority of the top floor can actually be breached to create verticals, to make it very difficult to play on site. And at the same time, the attackers, once they were ready for it, they just started to approach the bomb site, find the players who were playing offside, take them out as well, and yeah. Just one by one, the defenders were picked off, and things just fell apart for Avoid. First round going to start right here. Maybe as expected for some of the people, but at the same time, very unfortunate to see Avoid go down the first round like that.
Yeah, it's so unfortunate, and it's one of those ones where they didn't really put out a roam, didn't really bother with it, but the way that Cafe plays, and obviously the size of the maps, it's one of those ones where if you want to have any attempt at having any vertical play or any kind of anything like that in terms you don't want to go for the obviously the one directional push. You don't want to just come in from the east or the west without at least some sort of control on the top floor, and just to, obviously to make sure you don't get the flank. But because the way that they played it, they just kind of popped the frost up there. I thought they'd done a pretty good job, but the thing was, it was actually more the map that defeated the attack when it came to their actual roam player, because they just took ages on it. They just drone and drone and drone and drone, and that's just the nature of the cafe. They just took, if you're not efficient enough with it. I thought coming down to the last minute, the defenders were in a good position, but a couple of mistakes. The frost popping over a shield that you don't really need to do, losing the VIP control, and then just came undone there, and it was almost like they had the opportunity to win that for the defense, and it just fell apart. And they've went there again. They're going to see if they can make amends. They've went for pretty much the same setup, a couple of different changes though. They've decided not to play the frost this time and just to swap it out a little bit, and they've decided to swap things around, and it will be the smoke that's playing in there this time instead. So we'll see if they've been able to change it around enough for them to win this round out and win it against this attack that's just coming in at this minute.
Yeah, once again, the Jekyll has been brought on board, which will certainly be useful to find some of the defenders. And actually, the individual just jumping out of the building, getting found by one of the players. Again, also the gridlock with a kill there on the Jaegers. 2 defenders already losing their life within the first 50 seconds, which is just very, very fast, way too fast if you ask me. And already creates such a setback for a Void, almost losing the Wamai as well, bringing things to a 5 versus 3 situation, which is of course not a great way to start a round. Might even be a terrible way to start a round, especially with the Jekyll now also closing and finding more of those defenders. Smoke getting in trouble as well, also the Valkyrie already losing a bit of HP. Things are not looking great for the defending team, especially as another one falls and another one goes. It's just all coming down to the Wamai right now in a 5 versus 1 situation, all coming down to the Wamai, who his position might even be a little bit known, and also such low HP, and then he gets taken out. And again, this is actually the first flawless round. They are 4 Stark, but a very unfortunate loss there for Avoid once more, putting the score on to 0 in the advantage of Stark.
Yeah, I feel kind of bad for Avoid there on that defense, just because they seem to have a plan. They seem to be set. They had quite a good setup. They seem to have an idea what they're doing, and it's just a couple of over peaks that just lose the life so early there. You had the player on the red stairs that fell to the gridlock, and then I didn't actually spot who the other player was. I think it was the Vigil that jumped out the window, and just bringing a little bit of aggression, and it didn't quite work. It's just unfortunately the way it works. If you don't quite land the shots, lose those players early, and then of course the round just unravels from there. And it doesn't matter how good the setup is inside the site. If people get that confidence, they get that momentum after getting the opening picks, they're just going to push through as much as they can and just run right through the round. And that's how the attackers did it. It wasn't even anything great. There wasn't any pinches. They didn't even need to burn any utility or really anything. It was just isolating the wins and winning out these gunfights. And now they head to the middle floor. They've scared off the bottom floor and they don't want to bring it out. They're going to have to go and change things up now.
Yeah, they certainly should. Currently, we're playing, of course, in Cafe Dostoevsky with Avoid on the defense. If we look at the statistics, especially for this group, we can actually see that there's a 52 win percentage, 53 even, if we round things up. A 53 win percentage for defender wins on this map. Where then there's, of course, a 47% for attacker wins. So technically, Avoid should have the upper hand here. But yeah, of course, if we do look back at the history, the performance of these two teams, it's clear that Stark has been performing a bit better compared to Avoid. So therefore, it might be a bit understandable that they haven't been able to get any rounds so far. But one other thing we can actually look at is the prediction. This is almost coming to an end, actually, 50 seconds remaining. But let's just assume no more votes are coming in. 6 people guessed the vote in the end, of which 2 voted for Stark and 4 voted for Avoid. So clearly the majority of the viewers currently having faith in Avoid here, which is interesting, a very good thing to see. I like it. It might just be that Avoid has a bit more fanboys in the chat. I don't know. Okay. But at the same time, it could just be that the viewers know something we don't. That is maybe a very good map for Avoid. But yes, of course, currently 2-0 for Stark. But yeah, maybe things can be worked around for Avoid. Of course, it's until not too late. It's only the 3rd round, so there's still plenty of opportunity. And for now, just again, Team Stark, of course, in the attack. We're just making the first entry, droning a bit around. The Bulls, of course, playing downstairs, however, that's one thing we need to be very careful with. Because, of course, the Bulls can constantly spot them. Throw the C4 eventually, which is actually being thrown right now. The C4 is out. It's not being used right yet. Of course, you're just waiting for the attack to just push on a little bit further. But I believe it was just taken out by some kind of explosive. That's a very unfortunate no kill from the Bulls there.
Yeah, he did set the C4 there and just basically waited for the player to step on it, but didn't quite time it to perfection there. Hypno though knows there's a player to come along the white corridor, land a couple of shots onto Wolf there as he moves in towards that bathroom there, sends the C4 down the hallway and finds the kill now and gets aggressive in towards the bathroom, trying to hunt down another player and bring the aggression towards these attackers, and does just that. Finds a couple of shots onto Timo, who's now pushed back towards that red barricade, and now just has to hold back next to Ticket and just wait inside Cigar Lounge, but the swing does come again from Hypnos, who has the second coming inside that round to find another kill, and that's now looking like a good situation for a Void. And on this window still, Sty's just waiting, just holding out, knows that there's some players floating around inside of Cocktail, but the aggression comes through from Sios, just moving up towards that Mira window, and does melee it off to make sure that these players don't have that line of sight, and has got rid of the other Mira window, now swings in towards Cocktail and trying to pressure the players inside of the construction area, and just moving round towards Cocktail Lounge. Knows the players still on the Mira, finds that kill and is able to bring at least one onto the board for them, and it's a 3 versus 4 situation, but where are these defenders? They need to start hunting them down. Styes though is able to find another one. It's a 3 versus 3 situation now. It's all gone awry for the defenders here who had that early read, and 30 seconds on the clock. Mr. Box is rotated in a good position behind this reinforcement, waiting for the attackers to get into the site, and they have that control. They've been able to drop the hatch now, and Mr. Box is dropped and the plant is going down. The coverage is there from Styes, and it's now going to be hot and cooking for the diffuser, and things have to be moving for a Void. They're going to have to try and retake this now. Onto the top floor they go, doubling up together, but are these attackers aware that that's the positioning for the defenders? And up they go, triple kill for Hypnos on the round. He's going to have to drop the hatch though. 29 seconds on the round, not much left to go. These claymores will be shot out though, so they can at least get towards that diffuser, but they're waiting right next to the hatch. They know the players are upstairs, they know exactly what's going to happen. The drop does come through, the Jaeger's put in the dirt, NMD's dealt with, but the other player there, Hypnos, goes massive, but he's not quite able to finish the kill yet. Shotgun in hand, but the pre-fire through the wall comes through from Stiz, and that's the round for the attackers. Clutched out from underneath a Void, and they somehow take that round. It was looking like a good round there, but unfortunately they choke it out.
Yeah, the run started out really well for Void. They managed to get the first 2 opening kills, which was of course a very good thing. Unfortunately, after that moment they started losing some lives, but that wasn't even the big issue yet. But the big issue was that once they lost the top control, they didn't have anyone to defend the reading area. The attackers were just able to drop the laundry hatch and walk just straight into reading and go for a defuse. That is something you shouldn't be able to allow. Like I believe there was one like around pillar, one around mining, and one in fireplace of the defenders. But there was just no one really there to defend the fireplace, the reading area, and of course also the castle barricade then being placed, not allowing them to flank from the pillar area. I really think that really disrupts the defense of the Void and just caused them to lose this round in the end.
Just unfortunate, castle barricade used against them, because when they were in reading, that castle barricade, you could see it being placed again onto the hell doorway. That means that it cuts off that entire side, so there's going to be the sound cues. They knew they could plant safely, and they just had to worry about the rotate, and the coverage was there, and it's just unfortunate that it worked out for them. They just weren't in the right position at the right time. Hypno did their damnedest though to try and win the round out. A massive triple, almost got the 4K. Was not able to land their final couple of shots, so to at least bring it back from the brink for a Void. And they're going to go back there, going to try it again. It seems like they're pretty much going to go for the same setup and see if they can change things around and at least try and sort with what their issues were in their last round. The last time, I felt like the first half was good. They got the opening picks, but I felt like they gave it just too early. They got the picks and then they just dropped everybody. They only left the castle upstairs, and I thought it was a peculiar decision.
Yeah, the castle and the mirror were the only ones left upstairs, which is in some way fine, but like you need to have a plan on how to fall back towards side when needed. And then they did fall back, but they just were in the wrong area. Once they left the reading area and the laundry area, right, kind of the hallway even, it was just such an open entry, like such an open way for the attackers to just make their way inside of the building. That is such a shame to lose a run like that. Like you say, they're now going for a second attempt, so maybe with the right kind of adjustments, they might be able to be more successful. Again, things are starting a bit positive for them, and they are starting positive as the Jaeger gets a first kill there on Styes. That's the sledge taken out. A huge loss for the attacking team, as it will now be much more difficult for them to create any verticalities, which can be very useful on this bomb site. So that's at least one positive thing from the defending team so far. But then, of course, the Switch, unfortunately, wall-banging the Bulls player. I'm not sure whether he was being pinged or whatsoever, or it might have just been a great call-out or a guess. But it's a beautiful kill, and also the Ace getting another kill there on the Jaeger. Things just falling apart, but then luckily, Flawless bringing things a little bit back by taking out the Ace as well. No more heart breaching. and this brings things to 3 versus 3 with 1 minute and 35 seconds on the clock.
Yep, and it's not a good situation for the attackers because that diffuser is cold inside a cigar shop, and it's a peculiar decision here from the castle to pull back there, knowing they have that diffuser and knowing that they had to push into cigar shop, and they've just decided to come back to these mirror windows. And remember, the site is downstairs, so maybe that's the decision in there. They don't want to hold on to too much of the map, and just pulling back towards that mirror area and just waiting inside this cocktail. And they've held on a lot longer than what we did, and this is what we criticised them for the last time, but the attackers instead are not even going to try and push through that. They're going to go straight for this fireplace take instead, and that seems to be the bypass. They've done it. They're going to go through that fireplace. No one's paying attention to the fact that the attackers have dropped down below. The call surely is going to come. There's no sound on it at all. No one knows that they're inside the site, and it's the same thing as, again, they've pulled the site out from underneath the defense, but Wolf surely knows there's one on the staircase. Swings, gets the shot onto the castle, but knows there's another one inside of the laundry. But Hypnos, he's going to be trying to find the clutch here. It's a 2 versus 1 situation, and the diffuser is ringing out, making a racket. 35 seconds on the clock, holding onto the hatch, knows the drop could come, but not going to give up that position, and knows there's one in towards 90N upstairs as well. The drop does come from Wolf, and now they're going to try and isolate these 1v1s. Hypnos through towards 90 now, but can't quite find where the players are playing. The swing does come through, doesn't spot that there's a hole in the wall, a massive hole in towards Reading. Doesn't realise it's there, Timo, but decides to pull back. 30 seconds on the clock. The round is pretty much all but gone for a Void, but Hypnos is at least going to find a consolation prize in the life of Timo, but it's a 1 versus 1. Doesn't know where the last player is. Wolf's there to find it through fireplace, and the same mistake again, but on the different side, the opposing side. Fireplace, they just pull it out from underneath them. What is going on, Max?
Like, before it even happened, I was already thinking about this possibility. I noticed how players were just not inside of the bomb site. I believe we need to pause, by the way, for a player. I believe.
Yeah, I've got him, yeah.
Yeah. Like, I was already saying, like, how there was this time there were players inside of radio, but there was no one really there to find fireplace. And exactly at the moment I was thinking about this, I noticed how the attackers were making rethinking their strategy and relocating themselves towards going for like a train push into fireplace, and that's exactly what they were doing. And yeah, like you said, the same mistake, just on a different bomb site. You would expect that Avoid would learn from the mistake. I mean, in some way they did. They did put more manpower on the reading, which was last time the weak spot, but they moved a player from fireplace to reading, which they shouldn't have done. They should have just moved an additional player towards one of the bomb sites, and just again created one of the weak spots in their defense. And Stark, a very good team. We have seen them perform very well so far. It's just a smart enough team to realize, like, hey, we see an opportunity here. Let's take it. And yeah, that's something you shouldn't give to a team like Stark. You shouldn't give them any opportunities.
The thing is I was getting ready to compliment the defense as well, because they had the diffuser down in cigar shop, and for me, you've either got a choice there. You play the diffuser and hope that you can get this and win the ones, but in this situation, Avoid haven't been winning the 1v1, so what's the point? You know, there's no point in trying to play that aggressive and hold on to that area as if you're just going to be killed and losing man count. So instead, they just waste a little bit more time, pulled back to the mirror windows, and it looks as though, yeah, great, they had 2 players there. But then the late rotate upstairs from the other player, there's a minute left on the round. At that point, you should be thinking about falling back. You shouldn't be thinking about another player coming up to join you, because the exact scenario we've seen play out, they had the option to just go straight to site, and as soon as they found it, we're like, whoa, there's no one holding from White Staircase. That's where that player was. That was the key issue. The castle who was playing on White Staircase was the one that was in charge of holding that angle through towards fireplace. It's a common angle, but the wall is opened up, and they just didn't do it, and they were punished for it. And whether that's a personal mistake from the castle, just thinking, I want to go up here and get involved in the fight because I know that's where the players are, or whether it's a team play and don't realise that they are in the wrong positions. No, we'll never know, but it was a great attack from Stark, and we're getting underway here again. Just a slight pause, just to sort something in the background, but we're back on their way, and we're going to the bottom floor again. Not once are we going to see the top floor so far from Avoid. They just don't want to go there at all.
Yeah, they really seemingly don't want to go there. Of course, this bomb site has been played 2 times so far. Am I saying that correctly?
3 times. This is the 3rd time.
This will be the 3rd time, yeah, correct. So it has been played 2 times. This will be the 3rd, yeah. Yeah, I mean, 3rd time the charm. It's one of those sayings. Let's just pray for a Void that they can at least win the rounds, because that's something I really would like to see from them. It might already be too late for them. I mean, they're currently already 4-0 behind, which is of course a very tough thing to be in. But still, there are some chances here. If they can still make it a 4-2 and then go into the defense, sorry, the attack after this, there might be some chances for them to work things around. Like, I'm not quite sure how Void is on the attack. Like, in terms of gunfights, they're doing fine so far. And maybe just aggressive play style will work a little bit better than the defense for them. Because for the defense, they just make some choices that don't really work that well for them. So maybe on attack they do have another chance, but then they really need to start winning some rounds right now. Because if they don't, it will be too late, and it will be almost impossible to come back from like a 5-0 or even 6-0.
Yeah, they need to start getting some form here, and it seems as though they've heard us when it kind of means when it comes to changing things around, because they've certainly went for something different. But this round they're going for 3-man roam. We've not seen a single roamer from them, except from we did see a vigil teased in one round and decided to hop out of a window early on and die to that. But this time we're going to see a top floor hold from the vigil alongside there. We'll see an Ella, and I think they are just about to be faced up towards that repel on white, who's just going to hold that angle upside down and just wait for the rotate to come through. And the patience game is just going to be played here by Wolf as they wait on the window with a 1.5. Timo opens up the scoreboard, though, finds the Ella, and that's 2 players, but an instant refrag finds Wolf on the window. Styes, though, finds Mephisto at the same time, and we're in a 4 versus 3 situation. But the Vigil on the top floor able to escape down towards white and gets him back towards sight and just try to deal with some of those drones and still put up some sort of presence, because at that stage where you have the man count advantage, it's almost easy to just assume for the attackers that they have the control of Cafe and they can start to move down into these more comfortable positions, because of course they have that man advantage. But still, Bucks just wants to tease it. He just wants to hang around the area, just doesn't want to concede too much, because he knows that as soon as he gives it up he can't get it back, because there's just too many players left on side for the attackers. And still holding on to VIP, knows that they're going to try and weed him out of there, but is just going to play for time and just pre-fire these angles and just lie in wait.
Yeah, Vigil, of course, his position is currently known. He's currently just still playing in Dining, accompanied by the Mozzie. But this is, again, one of those difficult situations where you need to be very careful with, because there's 2 players in one area and just 1 person on the bomb side. If the attackers, again, get some knowledge about this, they might be able to relocate themselves again and go for the weak spot. So that's something the defenders need to be very careful with. For now, things are going fine so far, but as unfortunately the Vigil gets injured, probably by some kind of explosive, things will get very difficult for the defense from now on. Flawless is getting killed as well. There's, again, 1 more defender off the board. Vigil still injured, but unlikely to be revived. So likely everything will come down to Hypnos, who's currently playing on the Frost in this 4 versus 1 situation. There is some time, like just a little bit of time on the clock, 28 seconds at the moment, so the time might be able to work in his advantage. He's playing in a good position where he can deny some of the defenders, attackers will need to relocate themselves through this hallway. So he's in a good position, but he needs to be very, very careful at this moment. Oh, okay. Well, unfortunately, the attackers have actually been able to open up the wall in Freezer, which of course does give them a new line of sight into entry point into the bomb site. But then unfortunately, the Frost does get taken out before the diffuser even is attempted to be planted. Even getting a kill from within the bomb site. A nice line of sight right there. But that's again 1 more round win for Stark, who is the attacking team, putting the score on 5-0. After which we'll now head into the 6th round, the final round for them to play as the attacking team, and the final round for Voids to play as the defending team.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate there. The thing is as soon as you lose those players on Cafe, it's very difficult to recover when you're on the attack, when you're on the defense, because as soon as that happens, you lose what comes with it, and it's the map control. This is one of those maps where map control is so key. There's some maps where you can get away with losing a player, and you can kind of maybe have like an anchor in sight, you can get away with it, but bottom floor Cafe is not one of them. It's absolutely not, because that is an absolute havoc. It's hell to be anywhere near that bomb site if you lose that middle floor, because they're just going to open up the angles. And that's what happened to the Vigil. I caught it briefly. They were just holding an angle onto the doorway just in towards closet. I think that's remember the call off the top of my head. And they were just holding the angle down there, waiting for the Vigil to come through, and they popped through, and that's what it was. And just got downed and wasn't able to get the kill, but eventually did die to the nade that was sent in after. And just vertical play, and that's what happens. You lose the players early, you lose map control alongside it, but we will get the famous top floor site on Cafe, the one where you have to play onto those skylights and you have to worry about those angles coming in from the hatches as well. It's one of those ones where it's quite a unique bomb site where it has a lot of outside to inside play and downward play as well, which you don't get on a lot of bomb sites in Siege, and I think that's why a lot of people don't like going to it, and they're going to at least take us there. We're going to at least get to see it, and we'll see something different hopefully.
Yeah, this might be a good bomb site for Avoid in the end, because this is one of those bombs that they really don't necessarily need to roam too much. Like, of course, it might be good to just have 1 player sometimes off the top floor, but technically you don't really need to. So this might offer some opportunities here for the GHR team. as they've been like the roamings haven't been too successful so far. We do see 2 players playing downstairs at the moment. Maybe it has to do with the C4s they have brought on board. At least one was brought. Maybe with the cameras that they have with the Mozzie and one bulletproof cam. So maybe they're trying to do some damage from below eventually. But they should be very careful on not positioning too many people downstairs, because it's not too useful on this bomb site.
I have spotted a cheeky little Amaru just hanging outside that window, ready to go into the heaven window. Knows that the option is there, and they did do some drone work, so there's at least some plan ahead here for this, and it looks as though they're going to go for it at some point, but it looks like it could be a late round Amaru, and not just rushing in the window with no idea. And everybody's just kind of in a bit of a stalemate at the minute, as they all kind of stand still, waiting for the info to be fed back to the players that need it before they pounce, and they're just going to wait, just play the time, just hang around and lull it by a little bit. You see the young Candelas come in, and eventually they are activated. The rush comes through, 4 versus 5, and there is a C4 though to find Sios though, but an instant refrag though from the Amaru, who is in the window and inside the site though, and is dealt with though, but Mr. Bucks is able to find that shot, and it's a 3 versus 3 scenario somehow, and 3 versus 2. Now NND's able to go massive and find a double on the round, and now the Ash and the Lion are the last ones alive for the attackers. It's not quite gone to plan, but they're still in a position where they could pull it out from underneath a void, and now things are just going to get patience though. They're just going to wait out and see if these defenders overpeak.
Yeah, this isn't the first time that Avoid has been in like the man advantage. I think it has happened various times, maybe 3 times before. So if Stark has learned something from that, is one thing that it just can be waiting patiently. Just wait for the GHR members to just overpeak it, like you're saying. Just be playing a bit too aggressive, a bit too overconfident, and they should be able to get some kills out of that. So of course it's 2 versus 3. Lion is damaged quite a bit, but still has some of his scans which could assist him. But actually Ash already making her way into the bomb site. Really playing, and Barber gets found by the Mozzie, who now ends up having a triple kill. It's all coming down to the Lion, who's approaching from below the hatch right there. Gets a kill even on one of the defending players, bringing things to a 1 versus 2 situation. Where in the end, this had to get found as the Mozzie with his 4th kill for the round, a quad kill for the Avoid member, which brings this round out of this match then to a 5-1 score. Finally, Avoid getting 1 point, denying the flawless half from Stark. And of course, as the 6th round now has passed by, we'll head into the role swap, where of course Voids will now be playing as the attacking team, and Stark will be playing as the defending team.
Well, so certainly an interesting round, certainly different. It was exciting. The rush came through. It didn't quite work out. I think that the Amaru just got a little bit too confident, and I think that's what comes with 5 rounds in a row. When they got the kill inside the cocktail, and they just wanted to challenge that angle through towards the top of white, and it was just an angle that was never going to be won, because it's ever so slightly in favour of the player at the top of the white staircase. It's an angle that you think is a good angle because you've got the coverage of the cocktail lounge kind of like bar area, but because of the way it sits, you have to peek it at head height, so they know exactly where you're going to be for it. So it's almost it's such a pre-fireable angle, because it's so tempting. As soon as you get through that doorway in from the heaven door, you're just going to go straight behind that bar, and everybody knows exactly where you're going to be, and that's just what happened with the Amaru. Pre-fired straight out of the round, and then things start to kind of fall around, because that's the control, and cocktail gone. The Lion was somehow able to escape with their life, only done about 5 HP. They were able to take, I think it was a C4 that they were able to take to the face almost, and then just from there on, they just weren't able to. It's a man count thing. They've done well. NMD obviously going massive, finds the 4K on the round, and is eventually activated. Is it too late though? 5-1. This is the scenario we're in though. Is they head to the defense, and we'll see if they can come up with some solution on this attack to at least get them a couple more rounds.
Yeah, it's now the 7th round is starting. This is the first round that Avoid is playing on the attacking team. Like I already said before, there might be a chance that this will work a little bit better for them, as the defense didn't go as planned as they were hoping to. And just having this new role, which does allow some kind of aggressive plays, and where it's really up to them to go for the attack instead of just being so patiently waiting, which didn't go too well for them. This might just be a good one for them. And as the attackers are already making their way inside of the building, just trying to get up from those white stairs area, they might actually be able to sneak in and get some very sneaky early kills. They need to be careful though, because I believe there is a player downstairs here is currently the Valkyrie playing in Fireplace. So that's one they really need to be careful of, because Valkyrie will soon probably get some kind of idea of the players playing there, and she's now getting drones. The attacker should know as well, but things will get very serious right now, because both teams know about the positions of each player, and we will have anything like that anytime soon.
This is great play from the Valkyrie here, who knows that their life is going to be forfeited for this play. They know they've been droned out. There's no way to get out. But just by being here, just by being a presence, they're wasting time. Because these attackers are just in a little bit of a stalemate. They don't know where to take it from. They've also made the call. The Jaeger rotated towards the top of white, still shooting some drones and still wasting the time. The Jaeger's on the cross angle as well. So if there is another player to come up from the white staircase, they've at least got one angle covered, but still wedged firmly into Fireplace Hall is Wolf. Just waiting there. Knows these players have to clear him out, and it's a minute and a half on the round and they still haven't been able to get rid of him. They still don't know how to do this, and the push is gonna have to come at some point. And it's an excellent roam game, not getting any kills though. Flawless is going to take a little bit of damage, and Mr. Bucks as well, and Hexter's popped down the white staircase and everything is just falling apart here for the attackers as a melee though comes out onto Mr. Bucks. Another kill for Wolf, and is able to remain alive the entire round and get himself a kill from it. Upside down repel from Hypno's looking for the player on white, does find it. That's Wolf dealt with eventually, and it's back to sight for them, and they're dealt with. And Hypno's though is going to get a double, and it looks as though he just wants to drag a void through this team and through this match. They want to try and get some result, and Hypno's is going to be the one at the forefront for that, because every single round he's had at least some sort of presence. And 44 seconds on the clock, and things have to get in they have to get into this map here, the attackers. They have to get themselves down through these hatches and see if they can take some more gunfights.
Yeah, there's still a chance for a Void to win things here, but as the Ace drops the hatch, it gets taken out. It's a very unfortunate drop right there, getting killed by the Mute. Very unfortunate, sorry, Zami. Very unfortunate drop right there, and things all come down to the IQ. She also gets found by Timo as she drops the hatch as well. Very deadly, these hatches. And again, unfortunately, things fall apart for a Void right there. Another round win for Stark, earning their 6th round, putting them on match point with a 6-1 score.
Yep, and you know exactly what we're going to say. Wolf wins the round for them there, 100%. The play inside the Fireplace was excellently done, and it's one of those ones where they just found the weakness there, and it was the aggression. It's like they didn't want to peek Wolf. They didn't want to take the 1v1. They didn't know. There should have been a player pinching from Fireplace, but there just wasn't. No one ever even rotated towards Fireplace. They only had a player, the 2 players inside Redent, and they had a player coming from White Stairs. That's the only attempt they made at trying to find Wolf. As soon as Hexter knew that, I'm just going to pop down the White Staircase, collect the kill, and I'm just going to head back up. Wolf obviously had the opportunity to then escape, and it's just brilliantly played. Waste as much time as possible, and it was a great roam game, and wonderful round on them, and now they get match point. I love it.
Yeah, by having someone coming from Fireplace, you mean actually by coming from Trains, right?
Trains Fireplace, yeah. Through the Fireplace, yeah.
Well, that's actually one thing. I don't know whether you noticed, but I believe one of the defending players was actually holding the Fireplace hatch as well from above.
Oh, right, okay.
So that's actually a very smart play from the defending team. I believe they opened the hatch, at least someone was playing right at the position of the hatch, and I thought I saw some rubble on the floor. So I do think the hatch was opened. So even if an attacker would have decided to come from Trains, he would have been waited at. Someone would have been looking at him, just waiting for him to come in, which would potentially have lost his life as well. So that's a very smart play from the defending team, just locking down every potential way in towards the Valkyrie. Again, also the Jaeger, like we're talking about, just such a smart play.
Attackers are heading out to defuse a bomb.
Yeah, it's wonderfully done, because of course Wolf gets the info that there's a couple of players droning them out inside of Fireplace, makes the call. Jaeger makes a little rotate towards white so that no one can come from that side. Like you say, one goes onto the hatch, and that's basically 2 avenues of attack shut down, and the Valkyrie just has to worry about the door frame from Redin, and they got the kill from it. Player come through Redin, got the kill, they impacted the wall and were able to escape, and it was quite astonishing that they were actually able to get out of that scenario alive. And just a kind of fluffed round there from the attack. They had an opportunity to get that started off well, and they just took a little bit too much time. Let's see though if they can come up with something a bit better as we go down to the bottom floor defense this time. And we'll see a little bit of a roam. This time it's Hexta out on the Vigil, who's on the middle floor, and joined out there on this white staircase. It's just getting teased a little bit. It's the Jaeger though, and it's the Alibi to open up the scoreboard, who finds the Jackal, and now things start to unravel early on though. Timo's going to find another one. That's 2 on the round for the Alibi, and just playing a little bit of a game with their attackers here on this hatch though. Can he find a third? Nope, not on the round, and somehow actually lands the shot, but they trade it out, and it's a 4 versus 2 situation. Wonderful work from the Alibi. The KB there though, just not quite paying attention, doesn't seem to have their headset on at all, not really paying attention to the fact that the Vigil was ringing, the phone was ringing, it's all just falling apart, and everything's just collapsing around us, and that's the match. That's it.
That's the match. It is.
It's over. Just like that.
And it was a very, very fast match. At least avoid being able to win one round, which is somewhat of an accomplishment, especially against the team of Stark, which is a great team. But still, yeah, like just a great match by Stark. I do think there's some improvement opportunities for Avoid right there, but generally, I just do think. Let me just quickly do it for you. Um, there you go. There's the score. But either way, like yeah, I do think there's some opportunities for GHR to improve themselves, but generally, Stark just doing so well, just not giving any opportunity towards GHR to play really, and just taking every single opportunity they were given by Avoid. Yeah, just a beautiful match from Stark. A well-deserved win as well, which does really help them in order to earn some points there.
Yeah, it's one of those ones. This is why I don't like spectating Cafe, because it's a bit of a nightmare. As soon as action starts to happen, because of the way the map's laid out, it's so hard to actually catch any of it. And they were so quick there at the end, just completely, the alibi popping off on the hatch, got himself a trade as well, and then it just completely just falls apart. And
Yeah.
I wasn't too surprised at the result there. Avoid hadn't got a single point, and they leave the competition without a single point. That's 7 losses from 7 games. I don't know if there was a couple. There might be a couple forfeits or something in there, but I'm not 100%
No.
sure. But that's it. They've lost everything. Stark though, they throw a cat amongst the pigeons though, because they take themselves on 11 points, which does mix up the top 4 a little bit, because now that puts them in the third position, and you've got
They do.
Entropy in 4 with 10 points, and then that's technically knocked Eagle Empire out of the top 4 as it stands. But of course, Eagle Empire are still to play, so you've still got that to play later on.
Yeah, like you're saying, like Eagle Empire now knocked out of the top 4, just Entropy just slightly 1 point above them. So therefore, Eagle Empire is a bit of a tough position. And also, one thing to keep in mind is that Eagle Empire only has 1 match remaining, which we'll see later against Entropy. So that's also one of those Entropy matches. But Entropy has 1 more match to be caught up, which will be against E-Wave. So, of course, it is going to be a tough match. E-Wave versus Entropy is going to be a tough match because both E-Wave and Entropy are doing very well. So it could really go to either way. But I do believe that this means that Eagle Empire needs to win the upcoming match to manage to still stay in the top 4. And even then, if Eagle Empire wins that match, Stark also needs to catch up 1 match, if I'm saying that correctly, against Royal. So even if Eagle Empire will win the match later today, if then Stark wins against Royal, it's still over for Eagle Empire. So Eagle Empire is in a very tough spot right there. And Stark just made the first step towards taking that spot from them. Like permanently taken from them.
Yeah, I mean, this is the group that I would have classified as being the group of death. This is one of the strongest groups. There is quite a lot of good teams in this group, and somebody's gonna go home. That's just the way that it works. And Eagle Empire are unfortunately up to the mercy of a couple of other games. It's sticky. It's kind of a tricky situation when that happens, when you do all you can do, and you just have to kind of hope that another game goes your way. Because if Eagle Empire win tonight, then they've done the best they can. They're on to 12 points, and they just need to hope that Stark close their game. That's basically it. And if they don't, then it's just the way it works out, unfortunately, for them. 2 games still to go, of course. Misclick versus Royal, which will be coming shortly. That'll be in 25 minutes' time. We will try to pull it forward a little bit earlier, because of course that game did start earlier, but it could be unlikely. So the time is set as 9:15 Central Eastern Time, or 8:15 GMT, whichever time zone you're in. Then, of course, the third game for this evening is Entropy versus Eagle Empire, and that'll close out at 10:30 Central Eastern Time. And that'll be our games for tonight. So join us back here in about 25 minutes time. And like we say, we'll pop an announcement out just to say if we do pull it forward a little bit earlier. But 25 minutes gives you plenty of time to go get a tea, coffee, a drink, whatever you need, any refreshments. But we'll see you back here shortly, and enjoy the rest of your evening if you don't come back. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hello and welcome back to the ESA Cup Play Week 7, and we've got one more game for you tonight because unfortunately the final game has been cancelled due to a forfeit. That will go to Entropy, as Eagle Empire have unfortunately not been able to field enough players, but we still have one more game that will actually be played on stream, and that'll be Team Misclick versus Royal. I'm joined again by the wonderful Bose Max, and we're ready to get into it.
Yeah, it's such an unfortunate thing to hear that Eagle Empire has unfortunately forfeited. with that, they also have forfeited their one and only last chance to make it into the playoffs. So that one won't happen anymore. Goodbye, Eagle Empire. The Empire has fallen, like any Empire eventually does. But yeah, now we got one more match for today to focus on. An interesting one, Misclick versus Royal. So let's see which maps are going to be played.
Yep, we'll have a look at these map bands and see where we're going to be heading to. Now, I'm quite excited. I'm hoping for something different. We've seen quite a lot of maps. I've been quite happy with the map pool that we've seen coming out from the groups at least, and I'm surprised to see so many different maps. And I'm hoping that we don't. I'm hoping that we don't see another Villa. I'm hoping we don't see another Chalet, and we can at least start to close things out on some different maps. But we'll certainly see what are coming through just now. Now, my screen is absolutely tiny for me to look at, but let me just open up the map band and make sure I can see it, so that we can actually go through them live on stream with you. Of course, Cafe and Border the first to fall, and Cafe, we just came off the back of Cafe, so it's nice to see that go. I don't want to see the same two maps in one night. Bank going as well, and Sky's another one to go, and we're starting to eat through the maps now. We're starting to get to these spicy bits. Chalet still up though, and just as we say that, of course, it goes away, and we've still got Villa. We've still got Villa left, and we could be going to the one we've seen quite a lot. Clubhouse is the next to fall, and then we're getting into potentially we could go to Oregon or Villa, and I don't know if we'll see Theme. I'll be quite surprised if we see Theme coming through, but we'll certainly get a look in just a second as the final bands do ring out.
Yeah, I need to see. I did one little oopsie with the map pads there. I did fuck up one thing there. Let me see which one the issue is. Well, either way,
I don't think it'll matter too much.
it's this. Yeah, let's just do it like this, because it is in the end. It is Team Park. The order might not be exactly correctly. We will have this edited correctly on Wikipedia eventually, so you can see there what the actual order was. But just mind it, it's not fully correct. But the map that we're going to is Team Park in the end, and we will be starting on attack for Team Misclick, which is shown. So actually, we're starting with the match. That's very nice. So exactly as the map bands end, we're starting with the match, which is a good thing, a very nice thing to see. Okay, just hop into this final match for today. Well, we already talked about how some teams stand in this competition so far, also for this group as well, but we haven't talked about these two teams specifically. Team Misclick currently in the lead with 18 points, followed by Royal with 5 points, who, if we actually do some basic calculations here, they do still have a chance to make it.
Yeah, it's a very slim one, but they do still have it in them. Just it's because of that Eagle Empire forfeit. That's obviously put an end to Eagles' season, but it does leave the door open a little bit for things to change around a little bit. But it really does depend. I mean, I'm looking at the maths just now. Actually, I think you might be incorrect with that. I don't think Royal can stay.
Sorry?
I think because Eagle are on 9 points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eagle Empire has no chance. Royal technically does if they win both of the matches.
Right, okay, I'm taking it. That's what I'm not taking it into consideration. They still have that rescheduled game next week. Right.
Yes.
Aha.
Yes, that one does give them another opportunity. The chances are, let's say, slim. They aren't too big, but there is an opportunity there for them.
Yeah. So there's something to play for at least. I'm happy that.
Yeah.
I'm happy there's something to play for someone on this one. Of course, Team Misclick are almost running away with this league. They could be the only, if they win this in regulation, they'll be the only team to win every single game within regulation time. And I mean, just as we're speaking about that, those bans are spicy. Those are some chaotic bans they seem targeted. They seem like there's at least an idea. The Mira one is the only one I would expect on theme. That's the only one I would definitely. The other 3 bands are different. That is a surprise to see. I don't know about you, but the Ying one, I'm quite surprised to see a Ying ban. That's maybe a specific player to be targeted. The Flores, maybe there's some, shields that they want to protect and whatnot. But Alibi, that's a strange one for me. I don't know how you feel about that one.
Sorry?
The Alibi ban.
The Alibi ban, of course, Alibi is an interesting operator. An Alibi ban might not be the most useful ban. She has a great gun, her gadget can be very annoying to play against, that's one thing for sure. And maybe in the right hands her gun, like such a high rate of fire, so if there's a player who can control it, Alibi can be absolutely devastating, so it could indeed be a target ban.
Yeah.
But besides that, there's not much reason to think of why you would ban Alibi besides those then.
Yeah, I mean, it was the side of Royal that banned the Alibi, so there's likely a player on side. I don't know who it would be that mains that operator, and that's probably what it is, because it's the only ban for Alibi the entire entire regulation for groups. It's the only time that she's been banned. So I think it's a target ban. I think that's what it is. Flores, Mira are pretty strong ban. Flores being banned quite a lot. Mira, very strong ban for, of course, stopping anyone, coming in, or at least making the cash pushes easier. But a Maru pick, interesting enough, starting us off. Probably send it in towards break at some point in the round and bringing some aggression from Team Misclick, because that's exactly what they like to do. They like to bring the passion and they like to bring the aggression to get into the faces of the opposing team, and that's exactly what they look to do. As the site is in fact bunks, and that's where we're going to be heading to. Do we have a little bit of an extension towards the initiation side? There is a shield there, and they are vulnerable to this break rush if it does come through, but Cafe seems to be the clear at the moment. There's 3 players on that balcony as they begin to push in towards Cafe, but there's no one actively playing in Cafe. There's no shield playing towards it. There is a player toward of the arcade stairs. So the swing does come in here from Konski, who's able to find the opening pick on this round. The Dobby, though, finds another one at the same time on it 4, and the push comes through in from break at the same time. Pizza's inside the site now, and Dob with another one on a Thoughtful, and now it's just collapsed for the defense here. Flawless round. They open up this match here as Team Misclick just storm into the site and just pick apart the defense, and it looks as though it's going to be a tricky night for Royal.
It's indeed a tricky night for Royal. What a way to start for Team Misclick, though, and what a way to open for Royal. Like, what an unfortunate way for Royal to start a match. It's really Team Misclick setting the tone here. Like, hey, we're Team Misclick. We're the #1 of this group, and potentially even the #1 of this competition. As you're up for a challenge, this is what we can do. And yeah, just be ready for the next rounds to come. And Team Misclick just really sends the message really clearly. And just, flawless round win within such a short time, even. I believe it was. We saw a minute on the clock, even?
Yeah,
More?
within a minute, I think.
Yeah, so that just, such a show off of dominance from Team Misclick. Which either really unmotivates Royal for the remaining of the match, really scares them, really makes them feel uncomfortable, uncertain about themselves, or gives them the wake-up call they might just need. I see, okay, well, that was a very... the match has started. Let's get serious now. We're up against Team Misclick, and we need to do our best possible... give our best possible performance. We still have the chance to qualify.
10 seconds left.
Let's give all we can, and make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is there is if there's anyone out there watching that's maybe interested in competitive play, or even if you just want advice on your rank play, Team Misclick are a great team to watch because they do something that not a lot of teams do, and they do it perfectly. It's just one of the key things I would always tell any beginner on Siege is if there is an opportunity for map control, take it. Just take it. As soon as you know you have it, as soon as you have the intel that you have it there, that's exactly what Pizza's done. And just as I speak about it, he knows he can take break, he knows he can take bunk. Just take it. He does that. So now he has that power. Now he has the position, and he's there. He's wedged firmly into that area. He has the area covered off, and now they can drone from Cafe. They can get the information, and that side of the area is locked off. They did that the last round. As soon as they knew Cafe was free to take, as soon as they knew they could hop into arcade, straight in the window, I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to be confident, and I'm going to win my ones. And that's exactly how Team Misclick play. But they do it off of the back of the intel. You can see the drones coming out. That's a minute they're doing the drones because they know that they're on the bottom floor. They know these players could be out on the roam and being a nuisance, but there's no one out there, and I can guarantee as soon as they get that intel, these players are going to be in there, and they're going to be making sure that they're covering off these flanks and make sure they can't be flanked anywhere, and that's exactly what Pizza is doing just now. Knows that he's going to have to get to that staircase and make sure no one can come up from behind. Konski onto the dragon doorway, starts to put pressure onto the site, and now we'll start to see that execute transpire on that top floor.
Yeah, they're just now finally getting the first bit of control they need. They're just surrounding the bomb site eventually, but there's still some Romans on the loose. Like the Jaeger's one of those, actually just pointing him out. He's currently playing in Drug Lab, which of course is a strong position to be in. If the defenders in Vent do not notice him, do not drone him out, like the drone is currently skipping him for now. If this continues, this will be a very devastating thing for the attacking team, because Jaeger could go for a very nasty flank there, which could really help Royal up to this moment, because like the focus seems to be currently on the yellow stairs area and drum. So if the Jaeger doesn't get drawn out, he will be able to go for a flank, and as the drone phase, like the drone kind of stops right now, I do think they have not noticed him, so we might see the flank happening. Meanwhile, also some people approaching the building from the what is it, the northern, I can eastern side of the map. There's actually some bandit tricking happening. One thing we do not see too much anymore in this game. Bandit tricking has become kind of a rare thing, but it's been very successful. But meanwhile, unfortunately, there were Meyer losing his life to Diana but then also the Dokkaebi getting injured, which if she doesn't get revived, things will be a 4 versus 4. But as Niue also loses his life, it's actually an actual 4 versus 4. Dokkaebi did get revived, and it's all coming out of the Jaeger, who's now actually being located here in drug storage, and actually finds the kill. He takes out Niue as well. So it's now a 2 versus 5 situation, even as very people lose their lives, all coming down to the Lion in this 1 versus 3 situation. There's only 13 seconds on the clock. This might just become a royal round right here, as Dobby is very low in HP. The shotgun is waiting for him from Invazin, and as the time goes on, I think the Lion is just giving up. He's just not even going to try anymore, because he cannot win this really. And as the timer runs out, it's actually a defensive win for Team Royal, which is a very cool thing to see. And therefore the score is now set on 1-1. Sorry, I'm saying I'm saying working. Sorry, it's a 1-1 score, and therefore this game is luckily starting out in a very cool, very interesting score and an equal score, and this match might get very close then.
Yeah, good round there, and of course, you know, we did almost see the play from 4 in terms of the flank. He did give his position away. I don't know if it was a drone. Pizza knew he was there. They did know, but I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was just a slight miscommunication between Pizza and the ace of Niue, who was just coming around towards the bathroom area. And I don't know if he told them. I think it was maybe one of those ones where you get like you hear that very slight sound cue of maybe a footstep, and you think, wait a minute, is there a player over there? And that was what Pizza, so he was kind of wise to it, but it's one of those ones where you don't want to make the call because you don't 100% have the info, and that cost him the life of the ace. I thought Pizza was going to get the refrag, but unfortunately 4 comes out on top for them, and he's able to hold and drug, and it was good performance from him. At least that'll boost the confidence of Royal, able to get a couple of good kills, and it shows Misclick that they're not going to lie down. They're not just going to take this, and you know, they steamrolled them in the first round, and they're not just going to lie down and let them run through the entire map and take everything they need to. And that seems as though that'll get in. Hopefully that gets in the mindset of Team Misclick, and Royal are able to put in a performance.
Yeah, and talking about like how these teams were expecting, how they will do and how they will perform. The prediction in the chat once again ended. 6 people casted a vote, for which we're thankful. Gives us some really cool insights. 4 people have casted a vote for Team Misclick versus 2 for Royal. So still a kind of close one, but still the majority are going to Team Misclick, which is not unusual.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to see that there. We've seen a slight adaptation here to the hold. They didn't have the shield the last time to defend Cafe, and this time they are going to do it. Look at the coordination there to get rid of that shield. Beautifully done. It burns the ADSs off to make sure that they can get rid of it. There is a pre-placed C4 I did spot at the start of the round that Invizin has put just below that window in Arcade. So if they are to hop into that window, they will meet their demise as soon as the sound cue is there. Holding though at the top of the yellow staircase, they have had to give up the position inside the Cafe because they have lost that shield, and still playing on the reinforcement inside of Daycare is LQ. Is just going to peek out round at that reinforcement and show some of the SMG-11 shots there, but Solo comes out on top though, has the 1.5 on the G36. Of course it does hit hard on Console, as Konski's able to find another one on it 4 on the yellow staircase as he pushes up the other side, and now things start to fall apart a little bit here. The Valkyrie will be feeling the pressure at the top Arcade stairs, though, but pops out here. Thoughtful though wins that one though, and finds another one on the yellow staircase. Dob though with another on Invizin. It's a 2 versus 2 situation. Thoughtful going massive inside of the vault area towards Office, and Baresh is the other one alive with the Smoke Babes still available if they need them in towards Break Room. Knows there's a player though. You can see the yellow ping on the left of the screen. Shotgun in hand. Knows the player's going to have to come through, but doesn't know exactly where they are. What side of there? The yellow ping still there. It's a default cam. Niue, what's happened? Doesn't realise what's happened behind him, and Pizza has the clutch to do. Lands a couple of shots onto Baresh. Has to push up though. Has nades still available to them. Knows the player's in the rotate though. Swings through. Is going to find the head. It's a 1v1. Who's going to come out on top? Thoughtful's already went massive on the round. Knows where the player is. Has the information, but Pizza is blind to it. Doesn't know where it is. Has the diffuser. Goes through the rotate. Thoughtful's on the hold, and Royal take another round on the defense on theme.
Such a beautiful round for Royal, to be honest. Like the way Royal has been defending here, like the way they have been holding very smart angles, and just so many people died on the hallway near cafeteria. Such a deadly area. Just a very smart play, really smart positioning of Royal, just waiting for the members to walk into the line of sight, just taking them out. We did, like, things started out really well for Team Misclick, but then Royal did manage to work things around in their advantage towards those yellow stairs area, and then especially also the way the The Thorn in the end repositioned herself to such a long line of sights all the way through the bomb sites, and then finding the remaining player of Misfit. Very smart positioning again from Team Royal, which costs them to win in the rounds. It's actually Royal right now in the lead with a 1-2 score, something that is very impressive of them, very interesting to see. And it does set the tone for the remainder of the match, because Team Misclick isn't as dominant so far as you would expect them to be.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Royal are still a good team. It's by no means a situation where we're getting a poor team versus a good team. That's not what's happening here. They are a decent team. They are a reasonable roster. Obviously, the thing is Team Misclick have that reputation behind them. They have been a roster for a long time, and they have that coordination. And to see them make as many mistakes as they have is quite surprising on my end, at least. And the thing is I think Royal are playing this pretty well. I mentioned it before that the way that Team Misclick take the map control is picture perfect at times, and we're seeing the counter to that. We're seeing how you do that. As soon as you know a team is bringing the aggression, they're clearing shields, they're taking the map control from you, you need to get in their faces, you need to win those ones, you need to make sure you're bringing the aggression and playing as a team, and that's what they've done. They isolated those 1v1s, they made sure that these players funneled through areas in the map, they cut off areas that they needed to, and they held great cross angles, and it worked. That's what shut down Misclick. That's done it twice, and they're looking to try and get themselves into a further lead and open up this gap. But the attack has begun, coming in from the east side. You've got Dob coming in from the maintenance area. There is a player lurking around there, though, in the hallway at the end, though. They know they're coming in from maintenance. They're wise to it. Forrest inside the theme, he knows the player's coming through there, but the silent step is activated. Dobbs snuck in there, and they're almost back to back. The drones are coming in. They're hunting down Four, and he's almost turned his back towards Dobb, who does capitalise on that mistake, as Four is not quite aware of it, and it's a beautiful roam clear so far, and the nades are going to be cooked to set up from below, but there is still a player on the bottom floor. It is the Thorn, and surely there's some drones in position to at least put a little bit of resistance on this roam. Coming around the corner, those spots the player, though, and the ping does come through, and it's actually Solo to come out on top. That's thoughtful, dealt with, and just as we were talking about Royal getting into good form, they start this round off with a two-man disadvantage, but a little bit of a pre-fire through the floorboard does find Solo, and things start to lull out a little bit for this minute-and-a-half countdown.
Yeah, very strong first half of round from Team Misclick, taking out two defenders, but then finally an attacker gets found. It's Dobby taken out by the Azami in the Zin. It's now a 4 versus 3 situation, still the attacking team in the lead. A Glass is also being played by the attacking team, which is interesting. It actually does a bit of damage on Invazin, who's trying to rotate back towards the bomb site. Has a very nice line of sight, but doesn't find the Glass. Has also some of his shielding, which can be very useful to hold on this position, but then decides to fall back. With 1 minute remaining on the clock, attackers are now regrouping on the eastern side of the map, and from there they'll try to find a way in towards the bomb site. As the smoke canisters are thrown, or smoke grenades are thrown, it does help the Glass, of course, to do some spotting, find some players. Actually, does he find the Azami? That's another defender taken out. A 4 versus 2 situation right now, with just the mute and the smoke. The SAS combo still alive. And as actually one of the players, it's LQ, we'll just call him LQ for now, finds Gonski. It's a 3 versus 2. Glass gets found as well, but the smoke canisters, be very careful mute. Glass can look through those, you cannot. You just need to be very lucky, but in the end you lose life. And as the smoke also gets found, does find one player, but does get taken out at the same time. It's another win for Team Misclick, equalizing things again and putting the score on equal 2-2.
Yep, just an unfortunate round there for Royal, and they had a bit of confidence. They were feeling good after that 2-round win, and that's the thing with Misclick, is even though when they're up against it, even though when they lose a couple of rounds, you cannot give them an inch. You cannot give them any opportunity to get at least a slight foothold in the round, because that roam game downstairs, as soon as they locked on to Thor downstairs, they were in hunter-killer mode. They knew exactly where it was. Drones were streaming into the armory and throwing. Thor didn't know which way to look, didn't know that Dob was in behind them, didn't know anything, couldn't tell where to go, and that just shuts him down. The Thorn as well was also shut down, and the roam clear was excellent from Misclick, and the late round works out great as well. They were able to pressure the Azami. You've seen the Azami at the top of the Dragon Staircase. They rotated the players. They had one on coming up the Dragon Staircase, they had one on the cash door, one on the window as well at the top of Dragon, and they just completely flushed out that Azami, who was just so much pressure, not able to deal with a single part of it, and they just collapsed in from there, and it was a great round from Team Misclick, and hopefully Royal can recover from that, and I hope that doesn't shake their confidence too much. They're going to go back down to Theme and Armory, which they've already won. It is one of the stronger sites, and we'll see if they can put in a performance here.
Attackers are heading out to the
Yeah, it's really like it's back into an equal score, so it's basically back to 0. Of course, Royal having won 2 rounds on defense and Team Mystics winning 2 rounds on attack, so it's hard to say which team is doing better so far. It's really Mystics showing the dominance, but at the same time, Royal has just won just as many rounds, which matters. And the upcoming 2 rounds, the remaining 2 rounds before the rolls up, can decide a lot. It might just become a 3-3, or one of the 2 teams might take the 2-point advantage, and that's something we'll see in the upcoming 2 rounds. Again, this team is on the attack, making their first way inside of the building already, just getting into cash and office. Just a smart way to enter the building, and also followed by, of course, the Jackal, which is very effective on finding information, finding if there's anyone in the area, which is really helpful to find them. And as you're pointing out, there's indeed a misdrone happening. Of course, the Jackal still has a chance to find those footprints, so I4 isn't fully safe yet, but as the Jackal is not even looking in that position so far, we've actually seen the approach of the Jaeger doing a lot of damage there on Konski, but unfortunately not getting any kill, and as he's falling back, he's even getting damaged quite a bit, getting followed by Pizza, but in the end, Jaeger, where have he gone? He's currently hiding in barrel, I believe. Yes, he's currently hiding in barrel. Even one of his teammates coming in to help him out, just win any of the gunfight. But unfortunately, no, it's not helping at all. His teammate lost his life. Even the Jaeger gets found as well. A very smart, or a good play of Team Mystics, like finding both of those defenders. And a very unfortunate attempt from Royal there, which was a smart thought, but just didn't work in the way they were hoping it to. So 5 versus 3 now.
It was one of those ones where I think Four's eyes just lit up a little bit there as he turned the corner and seen there was 2 players there, and he just couldn't really decide which one to go for. He eventually goes for the Jackal, doesn't land enough shots, and just fluffs his lines and isn't able to get the kill onto it, and it just falls out from there. He is able to escape the clutches of Pizza, but not for long, as he was pinned inside of that barrels area and dealt with. And now things are not looking too great for the defensive side of Royal, though. The upstairs vertical there is there to pressure the player into the corner, but Solo's on the hold. Knows Thoughtful had to go into that corner to at least feel a little bit of safeness. And now the swing comes around onto the Dragon, though, and Bandit will come out on top. LQ gets aggressive, goes straight out of Dragon, knows a player's going to come round that corner. There's 2 stacking up, ready for the refrag if it does come there, though. And Jackal, though, is the one to take that. Konski's only on 5 HP, but there's a player upstairs, sends a C4, does it connect? Doesn't quite find its mark. LQ, though, is stuck now downstairs and doesn't know where to go. Dobro gets down for his money, and now it's a 3 versus 2. Baresh finds that kill, pushing up the staircase. LQ, the diffuser is down, though, but can't quite land the kill, though, as Pizza, of course, is the heavy hitter for the side of Team Misclick. Knew the final shot onto Baresh, and the attackers of Team Misclick take that round very convincingly on Throne.
Yeah, I think it's really going 1 by 1, right? The score, like one team earning a point each round.
Well, it's 2 for 2 actually. So you see, well, Misclick got the first round, and then you had 2 from Royal, and then we've got 2 from Misclick.
Yeah, of course, you're right.
So it's 2-2. Right. So if trends are to be completed, we'll see a 3-3 split. That's the way it should go.
That would be a very cool thing to see, because of course that's something we'd like to see. We'd like to see close matches, something that we don't always get. We have seen plenty of 7-1-1s, 7-2s, even 7-0s. So the match starting out like this is of course one blessing, something we really like to see. And of course there's always the interesting thing, if matches would go to overtime, of course there's the thing that not the full points can be earned by either team. The winning team would have earned 2 points, the losing team would earn still 1 point for their effort. And that's also something we haven't seen too much yet during these group stages, so it will be a cool thing to see. And so far we're heading in the right direction. Things are very close. It's 3-2, and now we're having the 6th round of this match, the final round before the rolls up happens. So the final round for Royal to play on the defense, and Team Mystics to play on the attack, because after this round things will change.
10 seconds remaining.
Yep, and we were so close to Royal actually having a good start there. Of course, with 4 just missing out on that opportunity, the Mistdrone came through. 2 Mistdrones actually. Didn't know he was in that corner, and he just didn't manage to land any shots, not enough to at least be meaningful later on in the round. And you know, it's fine margins. That round could have went the other way, and because of that, decided to go back to the same site. And they're not going to change much. They're going to change a couple of operators in the form of the Vigil coming instead of the Jaeger. So that's the key difference that you see from 4, who's going to try and be a bit of a nuisance on this top floor and at least play for some of the map control. But this is what I like with Misclick. The way they drone through and instantly take the map control. They're into office. The drones are at the feet of Konski as he enters into the map here. There's an Ayana Gemini on the other side as well to gather as much information as possible. Opening up some walls in office to make sure they have options to cut off any of these rotates up that yellow staircase, hops through, and the drones are still going in towards bunk, but 4 is going to be hiding himself for this moment in time and is not able to escape though, turns his back, doesn't realise that Konski's hot on the heels of that drone, is able to get the opening frag on this round, and that's the roamer gone, and now everybody just has to wait inside of sight. They just have to wait and hope that this vertical play doesn't come back to bite them as Pizza now begins to descend from above.
Yeah, this bomb site isn't called, it's called bunker for a very good reason, of course. It's a very strong bomb site with just a few walls that can be opened and just a few doors. So as long as those walls and doors stay closed and stay in the line of sight of the defender, it will be very difficult for the attackers to still win this round, even though they have the advantage. But luckily for them, there's still an ace on board, so they have the option to open some of the walls. Also, the buck can create loads of verticality to make it very difficult to play on site, and as also the gate is getting injured, he might be able to be revived, but he will be in a very difficult position from here. And as he's getting revived, he will still have 20 HP. And of course, that's not too much. One bullet can still take him out. At least he's still back in play and can hold the gun again.
Slowly just thinking about going down the hatch, doesn't quite want to dedicate himself to it yet. Baresh is able to at least even the odds and finds the life of Dobby, but still Solo plays and toys with that idea of going down the hatch, but doesn't quite want to go for it yet. As now we begin the work on the yellow wall, which will be opened up. There's 2 players wedged into that corner now, playing on top of each other, and that's not the scenario you want to be in though. Solo's going to find one of them, at least from the vertical, and still pressure is being applied from that vertical, and this is what we spoke about. This is what we mentioned though. Vigil, dying early is what's going to cost them the round here, because double kill come from Solo, who does eventually dedicate to dropping that hatch, and things are just going to be getting hunted down here. Now Baresh going for a rotate round, and surely the information's there. Surely they know that there's going to be some sort of flank. There has been a hold here though, but they're able to land the shot. Solo is dealt with though. The planter though, it takes a bit of damage and can't quite land the shots, can't quite get a grip of Ella's SMG. Baresh is able to find one, but not able to find the one that was planting. They do have the vertical hold though, and the calls will come. It's actually Nui to come out on top of that gunfight, and Team Misclick take yet again another round on their attack on Theme Park.
Yeah, so with a 4-2 score, Team Misclick currently in the lead, double the amount of points that Royal has, their opponent has. So it's a very good position for Team Misclick to be in, especially after this first half. I believe it was even Royal picking the defense. Yeah, it was Royal picking the defense. They only managed to get 2 rounds out of it, which isn't ideal. And now, of course, Team Misclick being on the defense, which might just be the better side to be on. Things are looking good for Team Misclick. Because if you actually look at Team Park, we currently... no, actually it's attack. Currently for this group, at least for this group, I'm looking at the stats specifically for this group. Currently for this group, it's a 60% win rate for attack and 39 or 40, let's just say 40% win rate for defense. It was really attacking favor here. That's interesting. I don't know how it's overall for the competition. This is against that we can really bring up really quickly. Generally for the competition, it's 65% attack and 35% defense as well. So it might just be an attacking favor in this competition.
Yep, well, we'll certainly find out in just a second as we see the defense coming out here inside the drug, which is an interesting one because, of course, it's not the most common sight you see because it does have an inside to outside play, and people tend to want to avoid that because it's less map control that you can establish. And they're going to go here first, and maybe that's just a catch-out kind of play onto the attackers here. They just want to play in this one, catch them out, and they're maybe not expecting to have to attack this site, but we'll certainly see if they can. And last round, we spoke about it briefly. The roam game, they did have one player out on the roam, and it was the Vigil, and that's what ultimately cost them the round, because as soon as they lost that Vigil inside the 40-second mark of that round, there's so much vertical play they were able to do, and it looks as though they're going to dedicate quite a bit of time going for the attack on this top floor. The drones are coming through, but they do have a key player, Solus, who hasn't been in much of this competition. 52% ban rate throughout the entire competition, is going to at least get one map before they are into the playoffs, and inside of Bunk at this moment in time, just looking for the drones, trying to see if they can calculate where this push is coming from, but it doesn't look like anyone's actually got anything anywhere near the map. And eventually we do get the first player inside. It's Invisible who enters in towards Cash and has that silent step available to them, and we're just moving through the office and into the showers area and trying to find where these players are playing. Four's on the pinch as well to make sure that they can clear any of these players out, but they still don't know where the Solus is. Now the drone will find its mark onto where the Solo is playing inside a Bunk, and they can start to apply that pressure through the waiting double door, and still trying to send the drones in, trying to find the information to make sure that it is clinical and that they can follow it up and get these kills, but they're just stalling out a little bit. They're not quite sure, and they're a little bit tentative to push through this door, and there's a cross angle being held. It's Nui to find 4, who just went through that double door, and finds the shot onto him, and Vision, though, is able to get the refrag immediately, though, but the pressure's coming through. Look at the double pinch coming on either side, doesn't know which way to look. Pizza, though, gets the kill. There's another player, though, on waiting double door, sends the smoke wave through. Solo's able to find one, Solo's able to find two. Can he find the third and shut this push down as they all funnel through the one doorway? Not quite sure where they want to attack from. He just got a little bit overzealous, swung right into the death trap that is Solo's P90, and that is the round over. Team Misclick go 5 rounds to the 2 rounds of Royal.
Yeah, clear difference here from Royal. Not as fast as entering the map as Team Misclick. Team Misclick very effective at taking quick control, at least of the first half of like a floor, where Royal really took like over like almost a minute to do so. That's a clear difference. And then once they finally got the control, it was just Team Misclick waiting with open arms for them, finding them one by one and taking them out. And that indeed is another round win for Team Misclick there. A 5-2 score. One thing I actually wanted to ask you, we're talking about like how often solos is being banned and that's not being picked as often. Did we see the new operator yet?
I've seen them Brava once.
Okay.
I've seen her once. She was played on like the first day of the season. It was a skyscraper game. She was played, and that's literally it. I think that's it. I think that's the only time I've seen Brava played. I think other than that, no one's played it. The thing is I've noticed this. Because I've been casting some PC alongside ESA as well.
You did.
The Brava and Twitch picks in terms of like the drone operators, I've played a lot more on PC than they are on console.
It seems like, yeah.
It's just a bit of a slower game. Console's a bit quicker, it's a bit more aggressive, and I think that's where the thing is that it comes out. You don't really get those drone plays. Obviously, Twitch has been nerfed a little bit, so you're not really going to see her as much, and people are just not really fancying the Brava, and I don't think we'll really see her, to be honest, that much. And maybe she'll come out for maybe specific sites, specific counters, and that's what I think.
Yeah, I really can't wait to see her. Like, I was also expecting already to see a bit of a higher ban rate for her as well, but we haven't seen her being banned a single time so far. So every single match since she has been released, she has been on the board, which is very interesting. So that's why I would expect that we would have seen her a bit more so far. But of course, like teams haven't really been able to implement her into strategies. PC players also have the TTS to prepare for a new season a bit more than compared to these console players, which don't. So that might also be why, but I would have expected to at least see her a bit more so far. But enough about the new operator, of course. The round is starting 2 minutes and 10 seconds remaining on the clock. So again, 50 seconds have passed by, and I don't believe there's any attacker inside of the building so far. So again, Team Royal taking a lot more time compared to Team Misclick did to enter the building. Of course, that isn't per se a bad thing, but it's time that they could really use, especially towards the end of the rounds. They really need the time to make a move onto the bomb site, and really need to have the option to be not to be too aggressive, to have some opportunity to just take things slow, drone once they're inside of the building, and we're just taking so much time. Yeah, that time just won't be there that much.
Yep, now they're getting on to the process, though, that is to open up the cafe angle, as they want to try and get rid of that shield, but they're not quite able to do that, as of course there is a player there to at least contest it. They are able to eventually get rid of it, and it is Zofia that does that, and the rotate does come through from the Womai, but they still have to deal with this. Only a minute on the clock now, and things aren't in the greatest situation for them. Dob just juggling between these two angles inside of the daycare area, knows that he has to ping through a couple of these shots just to make sure that no one can just push it into cafe without at least some sort of pressure, and the phones will start to ring, and surely the information's gathered on the fact that Konski's playing right below that angle inside of cafe. Doesn't know where to look for the actual player though on the staircase though. Fordo is the first to fall as Konski finds that kill at the bottom of the yellow staircase though, but Thoughtful takes quite a bit of damage as well from the pre-fire at the same time as Konski, who's going to get aggressive now, swings through, and LQ finds Konski though, but Invision also at the same time finds Dob, and just like that we see a two-person swing into the favour of Royal, who still have the time against them. 30 seconds on the clock, and they haven't quite dealt with this laser gate yet, and eventually they do send it through, but the cross angle is there for Pizza, who's lying in wait inside of office, finds at least one, has the DMR in hand though, and Vism with a double kill pushes through, and Pizza and Nui have it all to do for Team Misclick. The Echo drones though will be available to deny the plant if they are able to get them into a good position. Pizza still holds towards waiting, knows the player will come around the corner, and does just that, and goes to take the gunfight. It's a 2 versus 1, and just like that is isolated, but Invision's popping off on the other side of the map, has the Sophia with a 1.5, but Pizza's just going to wait and play time, knows he doesn't need to take this 1v1, knows Invision has to plan, but knows he doesn't have a diffuser. And defenders win that one on time. Team Misclick go on to match point.
Yeah, again, it's another round for Team Misclick, and like you're saying, based on time, something we were already pointing out at the beginning of the round, that time is something that Royal is being very, very royal, like, is the English word royal? To be royal with, to be like not too careful with their time, just spending a lot of time on the outside of the building before even entering, and in the end they end up losing a round because of not having more time to play with. Also, one very interesting thing I saw that I want to point out about Royal: do they know how laser gates work? They use EMP impact nades to disable laser gates, which of course works. Like you throw an EMP nade, and for a certain amount of time, a laser gate then is disabled. But when a laser gate has been EMP'd, it does reactivate itself. If they were to just throw the EMP nade into the laser gate, it would actually be used, like it would have used its charge, and it will need to be reactivated manually. So 2 times they actually used an EMP impact nade onto a laser gate to just temporarily disable it instead of just taking it out, which is
strange.
Interesting.
One.
Yeah, it really makes me wonder whether they actually know about this mechanic.
I also did spy a mistake as well while they were trying to clear that. They used an ace charge to try and clear it, and they actually missed the gate completely.
Oh god.
They threw it from the doorway in Cafe and hit the wall, and then it was absolutely nowhere near the laser gate. So I think that was the plan. I think they were trying to burn it, they just didn't quite get the throw right. But the thing was, is you mentioned it there, it came down to time. They didn't clear that shield until less than 2 minutes. Yes. And whereas on the flip side, Team Misclick had that cleared in 30 seconds. They were, as soon as they had the info that there was no one in Cafe, there wasn't an angle at the doorway from the office or the vault area, they just knew, yep, it's just the door we need to worry about, so everybody let's just pile in and burn that shield away, and then we can start to pressure it, and that's what they've done.
Yeah.
And
Team Misclick really made it the first mission, the first step of their tech to just deal with a specific bit of utility, which can be such a pain in the ass for them. It was just a main focus for the first seconds to take care of it, and then they actually started like the normal attack as you would expect it, which is of course very smart of Team Misclick, which is really helping them. And yeah, of course, currently Team Misclick on a 6-2 score, match point for them as well. Meaning if you just win one more round, it will be all over for Royal, and it will be Team Misclick taking another win, staying on a flawless score so far, as they would have then won every single match, 7 matches so far, which is only the first time which has the first team which would have accomplished it. There's other ones who still can do that, but Team Misclick will be the first one to actually do so. And as again, the first minute is now expiring, Royal is still trying to make their way inside of the building again. I mean, they have made the first bit of entry, but not too much. So again, they need to be very effective with their time from now on, because otherwise they might get in trouble with it.
the thing is they haven't run site. They haven't actually gathered information as to what's happening on the east side. It's a 5-man roam from Team Misclick. We've now got at least one player back to site. Every single player was off site to start with. They were all moving around the map, all being a nuisance for these attackers, and 3 members have now made their way back, and they still have 2 members out on the roam. There's 1 minute and 15 seconds left, and there's still a player in maintenance, and they're gonna get a kill because of it. Nue opens up the scoreboard in this round and finds Invision, who was the heaviest hitter on the last round there, but knows there's a player on the hunt for him, and that's the Lion that is immediately going to try and take this gunfight with him inside of control room. Sends a C4 but can't find its mark, goes deep but doesn't quite land anywhere near the player of the Lion, who's going to have to open up this door. Flashing out Nue though, it still holds on for dear life, knows the push is going to come through, and eventually is going to be dealt with, surely. Yes, the shotgun in hand there from 4 is able to deal with Nue, and it's a 4 versus 4 scenario, but there's only 45 seconds left on the clock. There's no walls open, there's no opportunity to get them down to sight. They are going to have to do this in the last 30 seconds, and that's exactly what happens. The Resh is there to do it, but the key thing here is they're impact tricking it. They have Konski with the impacts, and they're just not going to be able to do it, but the impact trick doesn't land. The wall is open, the rush comes in, LQ goes straight through the breach and finds Pizza, and they're just able to get in time before this round ends. 20 seconds on the clock. Dobby though is able to find another one though, and LQ's right on the bomb chassis, knows there's a player to swing out, finds a shot onto Dobby, and Solo now in a 1 versus 3 situation. But if there's any player that can clutch, it's Solo, because he's going massive, and he's just swinging through, finds a little bit of damage onto Thoughtful. The information is gathered, sends the impacts, but Thoughtful's able to land the shots onto Solo, and Royal take another round. It's 6-3, and they're able to have at least a good last 30 seconds of that round to get the win from Team Misclick.
Yeah, finally, actually, the Royal is able to work with a very limited time for the first time so far. Like, again, they didn't start off too well with the time management. It took a long time to clear out at least the one side of the map, which wasn't even the main focus, the most important part of the map. And eventually, they just decided to make the very smart move to just go for the yellow stairs wall, even though there were still roamers going about. But luckily things worked out for them, and with a very limited time, they made a very beautiful entry into the bomb site. Took out various players, went for the defuse, and yet won the round, which is a nice accomplishment for them
Attackers need to locate
to
and
have.
defuse as many
But still,
bombs as they
just
can.
3 points behind on their opponent. They need to win another 3 rounds in order to deny this match points and bring the match to overtime, which is a hell of a job. It is possible, but it will be tough for them to do so.
Yep, and that's just been the way it's working out, this one. So, I mean, that came down to one point. The roam game was great, amazing actually. It was one of the best roam games they've seen, and wasted so much time. We got down to 35 seconds before the wall was even teased to be open. But it was a thermite play. Baresh beautifully played it. Got that thermite charge on and off of that wall, juggled the impacts, and even though the Azami had 2, wasn't in the right place. Didn't quite land the impacts. That got the wall open, and they just knew that they had to go straight in. They couldn't rest on the laurels. They had to just get right into the site and sent it straight through the breach and got a couple of kills from it. And it ended up being a really good execute, and it stole it from underneath Team Misclick, who'll get themselves into a position still to try and win this, though, going towards that initiation and office site.
Yeah, and speaking of the devil before, we're actually finally gonna see Brava. Of course, Brava can really do some damage here. We have Mai in play. We have Echo in play. 2 operators were, of course, very vulnerable for the Brava. I believe the laser gates are still not capturable, only destroyable, due to like a little issue that happened with Siege. I don't think they have fixed it yet. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Not 100%
But so
sure.
far, there's a lot of opportunities for Brava here to do some real damage. I'm very curious to see. She is currently on her drone as well, so she might even be able be on the look for some utility so far. And if she's actually able to take some utility, it can be very useful. Just imagine taking in those Mamai discs, just denying Solo from throwing his impact nades or his shielding utility, or then at the same time taking an Echo, which could disrupt defenders, even defusing the diffuser eventually. So yeah, it will be very interesting to see her being played. And actually, the first attack, the first kill, actually coming from Team Royal as well. Konski taken off the board. That's really taken off. We did place her off the utility most likely, but still, that's 1 member down, which of course is a good start for Team Royal. And unfortunately, a refrag or like response happening from Solo, but after that he gets taken out as well by the termites, which was of course a Royal member. Bringing it to 3 versus 4 situation in the advantage of Royal, and they're doing much better. Still 1 minute and 20 seconds on the clock. They do need to make a proper entry towards the building yet. Well, at least the first start has been made in their advantage, and hopefully they were able to profit onto this.
Oh, you see
But
that
then
angle? Wow, Dob with a beautiful shot from waiting double door all the way through to Cash, and now the shotgun in hand for Pizza. Can't quite land the shot enough to kill Baresh, but he's down at 5 HP. He's still got laser gates to make his way through. He's only got a minute on the clock. He still has to try and push his way through Dob and New's cross angle as well. And doesn't look too great. No, it doesn't look as though he's going to have any opportunity to do this. And I think he's probably just going to, hang around a little bit and maybe just think, it's just kind of over for him, sending in the flashbangs just to try and burn a little bit of that utility. But Team Misclick, they're not going to move. They're not even going to give Baresh the satisfaction of a 1v1. They're just going to wait, hold the cross angles. They know that Baresh is on that side of the map. They know he doesn't have time to rotate. They know exactly where he's going to push from. And Dob's the one that's inside of Vault, waiting for the swing and still sending out these magnets to make sure that these flashbangs can be caught before they push in towards office. And still, Baresh though. 15 seconds on the clock. That'll be the last act for this game as he's swinging through in towards Vault, but Dobbs just going to show the patience and does eventually swing, finds Baresh, and that's it, all over. Final score is 7-3 in favour of Team Misclick, and they head to the playoffs with an absolutely flawless performance. 7 wins from 7 games. They didn't lose a single point. Every single win was inside regulation, and they're definitely a force to be reckoned with going into playoffs.
Yeah, they surely will. It's one of the teams they really need to look at towards the playoffs. There's still 2 other teams who could accomplish the same kind of accomplishment by winning also the all 7 games. I believe that will be Villains and Black, who are the other 2 teams who could still accomplish that. But of course, it's a huge accomplishment right there from Team Misclick to already do so. And it's just a question whether their opponents will be able to do so. Is it also Solo? No, it's actually Solo also getting a 3rd MVP screen so far. It's actually 2 Team Misclick members with 3 MVP screens so far, which is also a very cool accomplishment. This is one of the things we have been keeping track of. But of course, this is Team Misclick winning against Team Royal with a 7-3 score. Team Misclick earning further points in their group. and Royal unfortunately losing a chance to still make it into the playoffs as well. So therefore, Royal is now also eliminated. And so is Eagle Empire. So we do technically now know which teams will be in the playoffs coming from Group C. At least we know the top 4. There's still a chance that Stark and Entropy will change places as they still need to catch up some matches. But yeah, that's it for now.
Yeah, that is going to be us for this evening. Of course, we've just seen, just like Max has mentioned, Team Mesclip win the group, they go through in the playoffs, and we're starting to decide a lot of things. We've got a couple more games this week, and we have a few reschedules next week as well before the groups are completely done. But we're definitely getting into the final stages of it, and we'll be starting off with the playoffs in the next couple of weeks. So 100% stay tuned. We'll start to get to the spicy matchups, and we mentioned the new operator, and we can't play as much. I think we'll see that a lot more in the playoffs because best of ones. Generally, you don't see much in terms of depth with the strats. You usually just see, I'll pick an operator with a good gun skill, and then your usual thermite ace, and let's just do the standard pushes, and it comes down to gun skill a lot of the time. But like I said, playoffs shortly. It's been an enjoyable night for us. Thanks everybody for joining in the chat as well. If you want to get involved in the ESA Cup, do hit us up on Twitter, ESA_Cup. Join the Discord. Drop any one of us a DM if you want to get involved in terms of the production side of things, or if you want to play in any of the future games, make sure that you are in the Discord and you're keeping up to date with what we're doing. We also have a Wikipedia page that you can go on and keep up to date with all of the game changes, all of the groups and whatnot, and what's coming up, and pretty much everything. Yeah, the schedule and everything as well. But that's going to be it from us. It's been Chamberlain and Boz Max. Hit us up on Twitter if you're interested in taking any of us on for any of your games, and we'll see you in the next one.
Have a good evening, everyone.